Alrighty, so let's start week 8 by talking about the end of the semester because at week 8 we have one more week to go, and I want to make sure you're clear and we're clear about the end of the semester. Okay, so what I have open here is I have the dates as I listed them in attendance, but I also have open the calendar because it's important to go over both because I think seeing it might help. But as of, so let's just look now and roll to the end of the semester. So the end of the semester starts, the last week of the semester is the 18th through the 22nd. Okay. So this will cover that week. So on Tuesday, so that's past our normal due date that will fall on Monday, but Tuesday, the 19th at noon, is the last day to submit late work using a late pass. Okay. And what that means is if you didn't know, the simple syllabus lists that you have 2 items in this case, unless you go see the tutor and then you get more. And I mentioned this in the beginning. So, but you have 2 to use. So if you haven't used them, you definitely want to say, hey, Rio, could I apply a late pass? In this case, you probably submitted something late, you got late points removed, you want to use those passes. So now you might want to wonder what things should I apply these to? And here's where I pulled up Simple Syllabus today and spent a few minutes looking at it. Is like the lectures are 25%, the project zero is 25%. So these are your largest items. Now, project zero is going to be due at the end of this week. So you have to have that one done because there's no late for that. So it'd really be lectures. So if you miss something on a lecture, I definitely would consider applying a late pass to those. If you didn't, then hands-on or current topics, but you can see how things are impact your grade if you haven't looked at them before. Okay, so in this case, that 19th at noon is the last date to submit late work using a pass. Now, I am going to give you one more date to submit late work. You just can't use late passes for them. Now on Thursday, so we jump over, so that's Tuesday, so Wednesday. So our normal Thursday due day is actually still there, but it's a different due time. Okay, so let's talk about that Thursday, the 21st at 8 a.m. in the morning. It's the last time to ask me to review your project work for final share out. Okay, or just for, in order for you to get my feedback to modify anything, you need to have submitted it. So this is like, I would definitely be working ahead and asking for feedback. That way, if I see something, now we've been checking this throughout the semester, especially these last couple of weeks. But if you want to change something, you need to have asked me by 8 a.m. And that's because, and this is probably the most important date on here, is Thursday the 21st at noon. Okay, so this means Thursday, not at our normal due date of midnight or when I wake up the next morning. You needed to have submitted your project zero and then your intro to JavaScript topic here. Okay, so note, and this is what I'm saying, a different, well, actually, it's the same day. I should correct that, but a different time than our normal due dates for that. Okay. Now, also, so just kind of note that, put it in your, oh, make sure I get this done. I will probably release this information as an announcement just so it's clear to everyone, hopefully. And so the other thing is by the following Monday, I start to clean up the GitHub repos. So if you're somebody that wants to keep, and I definitely recommend this, you have them locally, I will remove both the public and the private repos at that point starting Monday. Okay, so if you're somebody that's working on code space, you definitely want to do this locally. Now, I had you all convert to local installs, but if for some reason you didn't, you definitely want to think about that. Now, there are ways to take those locally installed repos and put them on a different GitHub, like your own GitHub. I don't cover that, but if you need help, please shout out. I'd be happy to help you walk through that. Okay, so the last thing I want to say about this, right, is that 2 things actually. Once you submit the final work and I grade it, what shows up in Canvas is your final grade for the course. And remember, in Canvas, you can always ask when you go into your grades that what if scenario. What if I get this work done and then, because it's going to be late graded, again, late passes here, but what will my grade end up being? Because if you email me and say, hey, Rio, what if I get this work done? What will my grade be? I will say, hey, Canvas tells you how to do that. So go do that to make sure you end up where you want to be for this semester. Okay, remember, this has been a short-term class. It ends at the end of 9 weeks. And so this class basically ends at noon on the 21st. Please, once you go through the graded part of the work, if you do have any questions, you're welcome to post them in your reply as well, or reach out to me directly if you have any questions, because understanding how the end of the semester flows is a really important of any class. And now hopefully you have a better idea for this class. Okay, thanks so much. Talk to you later.